My stepkids said, "You don't get a say in this house. You're not our real dad." So I smiled, packed their bags, and dropped them off at their real dad's place. The same man who hasn't paid a cent in years. Hello Reddit I+ here. You know what's funny? I used to believe that if you loved hard enough, worked hard enough, and gave your all, people would eventually see your worth. Turns out, that's not how it works. Some people will take every ounce of love, time, and sacrifice you give, and still act like you never existed. My name's Grant Holloway, 43 years old, a contractor from North Carolina. I've been married to my wife, Melissa, for 9 years. When we met, she already had 2 kids, Brady, who's now 17, and Hannah, 15. Their dad, Curtis, was what you might call a weekend ghost. He showed up just often enough to remind the kids he existed, then disappeared when things got real. I never planned on being someone's step anything, but when I met Melissa, she was a single mom doing her best, and those 2 kids were small and shy and needed someone steady. I didn't think twice, I just stepped in. I was there for school projects, hospital visits, braces, basketball games, late-night study sessions, everything. When Melissa and I bought a house together 6 years ago, it was my money that built it. Every brick, every nail, every light fixture had my sweat behind it. I paid the mortgage, the utilities, the endless repairs. Melissa stayed home for years to raise the kids. I was fine with that. I wanted to provide for all of them, and for a long time, it felt like we were a real family. Brady used to follow me everywhere when he was younger. Wanted to learn how to change a tire, hammer a nail, even mow straight lines on the lawn. Hannah was a quiet kid, always drawing, always smiling when I'd sit beside her and ask about her art. They used to call me Dad. That word, man, I wore it like a medal. But something started changing about a year ago. Brady got his first girlfriend, and suddenly, I wasn't a mentor. I was an obstacle. He'd roll his eyes when I asked about his grades, act like chores were an injustice. Hannah, who once used to hug me before school, started keeping her headphones in and barely speaking to me. I figured it was just teenage mood swings. I tried to let it pass. Then, one evening, I asked Brady to unload the dishwasher before heading out to meet his friends. He slammed the cabinet door and said under his breath, "You're not even my dad, why should I do what you say?" Melissa was right there, scrolling on her phone at the kitchen table. She didn't say a word. I looked at her, waiting for her to correct him, to say something. She didn't even glance up. That silence, that was the first crack. Then came the second. A few weeks later, I overheard Hannah talking to her friend on FaceTime. I was walking down the hallway when I caught, "Ugh, Grant acts like he owns this place. He's not even really part of our family." I froze mid-step. That sentence hit like a sledgehammer. I'd been signing the checks, repairing the leaks, paying the tuition, but I wasn't part of the family. I told myself I was overreacting. I pushed it down. But denial has a short lifespan. The breaking point came on a Saturday morning. I was in the garage fixing a pipe when I heard laughter coming from the kitchen. Music playing, the smell of pancakes. For a second, it felt normal. Then I caught snippets of conversation. Brady was saying, "We'll have the whole house to ourselves when Mom and Grant go to that wedding next month." Hannah laughed. "So what? It's not even his house anyway. He just pays for it." My wrench clattered to the floor. Brady added, "Yeah, he walks around like he's in charge or something. He's just Mom's husband. This is our house." I stood there in the garage, the sound of running water dripping like a ticking clock. 8 years of sacrifice boiled down to that. He just pays for it. I didn't explode. I didn't even confront them. I finished fixing that pipe, washed my hands, and sat in silence the rest of the day, thinking. By Sunday morning, my mind was made up. And I called everyone into the living room. Melissa sat on the couch, scrolling through her phone as usual. Brady looked irritated. Hannah had her arms crossed. "Let's talk," I said calmly. They all exchanged glances. "I heard what you kids said yesterday," I started. "You're right. This isn't my house. It's yours. So here's what's going to happen." Brady laughed like it was a joke. "What, you gonna kick us out or something?" I smiled, but there wasn't any warmth in it. "No, I'm not kicking you out. I'm just taking you home. To your real dad." Melissa blinked. "Grant, what are you talking about? You and the kids will stay with Curtis for a while. After all, I wouldn't want to act like I'm running a house that's not mine." The color drained from her face. Brady's jaw dropped. "You're not serious." "I am," I said, standing up. "Pack your things. I'll drive you over myself." Melissa started crying, pleading, saying I was overreacting, that the kids didn't mean it. But I wasn't yelling. I wasn't angry anymore. I was empty. Completely emptied out. Within an hour, their bags were in my truck. I drove them to Curtis's place, a small duplex with peeling paint and a yard full of weeds. He looked confused when he opened the door. They're yours, I said quietly. They said I have no say in the house I paid for, so now they're all yours. Melissa started to speak, but I closed the truck door before she could. That night, the house was silent for the first time in years. No music, no bickering, no slammed doors, just silence. I sat at the kitchen table staring at the mortgage papers with my name on every page. For the first time, it actually did feel like my house, because the people who treated it like theirs were gone. I don't know what happens next. Maybe this marriage can't be fixed. Maybe it shouldn't be. But I do know this. Loyalty without respect is slavery. And I'm done being the man who pays for everyone's comfort while being treated like a stranger in his own home. It's been 3 weeks since that day. 3 quiet, surreal weeks. The house feels strange without the noise. You'd think I'd enjoy the silence, and at first I did. I started eating dinner at the kitchen counter again instead of standing by the sink like a stranger. I fixed the broken cabinet door that had been hanging loose for months. I mowed the lawn at dawn, just because I could. For the first time in years, the place actually felt like home. My home. Then the calls started. The first one was from Melissa. Her voice was soft, cautious. "Grant, can we talk? The kids miss you." They didn't mean what they said. I almost laughed. 3 weeks ago, those same kids told me I had no say in this house. Now suddenly, they missed me? "I think you should talk to Curtis about that," I said flatly. Before she could reply, I hung up. A day later, Brady texted me. "Hey man, sorry if we disrespected you. Mom says we can come back and start over, man. Not Dad. Not even Grant. Just man." I left it on read. Then came Hannah's attempt. The one that almost got to me. She left a note in the mailbox. A long one. She said she missed our movie nights. That she regretted what she said. That it wasn't fair how I left them like that. But there was one line that gave her away. "If you'd just let us come back, Mom says she'll make sure we all respect you more." Mom says. So, this wasn't her idea. It was Melissa's campaign. A week later, Melissa showed up at the house. It was a Saturday evening. The golden kind of light that makes everything outside look soft. I was in the backyard, sanding an old table I'd been meaning to refinish for months. I heard a car pull up. When I turned around, there she was, standing by the porch in jeans and a sweatshirt, holding a Tupperware container. She smiled like nothing had happened. "Hi," she said. "I brought your favorite, lemon chicken." I didn't move. "What do you want, Melissa?" She sighed, setting the container down on the porch rail. "I just want to talk. The kids are having a hard time. Curtis isn't exactly father material. He's barely around." I wiped my hands on a rag and looked her in the eye. "That's not my problem anymore." She stepped closer. "Grant, please, you can't just give up on us. You know how teenagers are. They say stupid things. You're the adult." "Exactly," I said quietly. And the adult finally made a decision. Her eyes welled up. "They didn't mean it. You know they love you." I shook my head. "No, Melissa, they loved what I provided. There's a difference." She tried to reach for my hand, but I stepped back. That's when the mask slipped. "You think this makes you a good man?" she snapped. "Abandoning your family because a couple of teenagers mouthed off?" I smiled bitterly. "No, I think it makes me a man who finally stopped financing people who treat him like a joke." For a long time, she didn't say anything. Then, in that familiar, manipulative tone, she whispered, "You'll regret this. They're your family whether you like it or not." "Then why do they call someone else their dad?" I asked. She didn't answer. She just turned and walked back to her car. 2 months passed. The calls slowed down. The silence grew comfortable again. Until one afternoon I came home from work to find Brady's truck parked in the driveway. He was sitting on the porch steps, head down, hands clasped. For a second, I almost felt pity. Almost. "Your mom know you're here?" I asked. He nodded. "She dropped me off. Said I should talk to you." "Talk," I said. He hesitated. "Curtis kicked us out. He said we're old enough to deal with our own crap. Mom's been staying with a friend. We got nowhere else to go." There it was. The real reason. Not love. Not remorse. Need. "Brady," I said, leaning against the post. "Do you even remember what you said to me?" He looked away. I was angry. "No," I said sharply. "You were honest. You said I'm not your real dad, that I have no say in this house. And you know what? You were right. I'm not your dad. And this isn't your house." He stared at the floor, blinking fast. "Come on, man. We don't have anywhere else to go." "Not my problem," I said. "You made it clear my authority ended where your respect did." His shoulders slumped. He got up slowly and walked back to the car idling at the end of the driveway. I saw Melissa behind the wheel watching through the windshield. When Brady climbed in, she glared at me. That same sharp, self-righteous look she gave when she wanted to make me feel guilty. I didn't flinch this time. They drove off. That night, I sat on the porch under the yellow glow of the porch light, sipping a beer, thinking about how much had changed. People always talk about family being unconditional, but love without boundaries isn't love. It's surrender. I used to think being a stepdad meant proving yourself endlessly. Now I know it means knowing when to stop trying. A month later, I filed for divorce. No drama, no shouting, just paperwork and peace. Melissa didn't fight it. She knew I was gone long before I signed the papers. I kept the house, the mortgage, the bills, the peace, all mine. And every time I walk past the hallway where those voices used to echo, I remind myself of one truth I learned too late. You can build a home with your hands, but if the hearts inside it don't respect you, it'll never truly be yours.